In Romans chapter 1, the Bible talks about the gospel being the power of God unto salvation. The gospel is the power of God unto salvation. But the Bible also keeps on telling us which aspect or how the gospel ought to be applied for us to manifest or engage this power. The gospel in verse 17, after verse 16, it continues saying in Romans chapter 1 verse 16, that therein is the revelation of the righteousness of God from faith to faith. So in that gospel, there is a revelation of God's righteousness. And the revelation of God's righteousness is that part of the gospel that releases the power that is in the gospel. So by just quoting that the gospel is the power of God unto salvation, there is no power in quoting that the gospel is the power of God. The power of God comes in the application of that gospel. And the gospel is applied when the revelation of God's righteousness is revealed. And in that context, we find that the revelation of God's righteousness there is not in the fact that we are God's righteousness, or we have received God's righteousness, but it is in the fact that we are engaging God's righteousness. Because the same statement, when you continue into verse 18 onwards, it contradicts or contracts the people who are living their lives in sin, living their lives for the devil, living their lives outside of the law of God. So the revelation of the righteousness of God will lead you or anyone else into walking and living by the truth or by the law of God or by the word of God. So when we live by the word of God, we are living by the gospel. And when we live by the gospel, we are going to experience the power of God, because the power of God is in that gospel.